Thank you. Can you guys all hear me? Yes. Amazing. All right, let's see if this works. Yes. So I'm going to start with our mission. Spotify's mission is to unlock the potential of human creativity by giving 1 million creative artists the opportunity to live off of their art and billions of fans the opportunity to enjoy and be inspired by it. Spotify is a very, very, very big company when it comes to global reach. We're in 184 markets around the world. There's actually very few companies that are in so many markets. And this comes with a lot of opportunities, and it comes with a lot of challenges. And the tension between global and local is omnipresent in all of the work that we do. And it's something that we're going to talk more about, and I know a lot of the other speakers are going to be speaking to this challenge. But first, I wanted to give you guys a little taste of Spotify and Georgia. We have been listening together for a couple of years now. We've been in Georgia since February 2021. So it's 2024 now, almost 3 years. So recent addition. And I wanted to pull some data on how Georgians are listening. And so the week of May 30th, the top album was Hit Me Hard and Soft, so some Billie Eilish fans in the house. The top song was Not Like Us. I don't know this song. Do you guys know this song, Not Like Us? No. Some people know it. They don't know. And then the top Spotify playlist was Your Daily Mix. And then your most shared tracks. So on June 6th, it was Houdini, Eminem. And it seems like Georgia has a lot of rap fans because we've also got Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria in 2024. And then this group of all time like that's Future, that's a track. So big rap hip hop fans here in Georgia. Does that track with do you guys think that's true? Yeah, lots of rap fans. Okay, good. So what I'm going to talk about today is marketing to inspire user advocacy. And this is something that I would say is the thesis statement for all the work that my team tries to do across Spotify. It is all about getting our users, our global user base of almost 600 million people, advocating for us. And the case study for this, which many of you guys have heard of, we have the privilege of running a global campaign called Spotify Wrapped. And it's something that, surprisingly, people start talking about at the beginning of the year. And the premise of the campaign is that we give our users their data at the end of the year. And so they can look back and you can see, these are my top songs, this is my favorite album, and hopefully learn something about you and your listening and what happened each year. One of the big lessons, I think, of Spotify Wrapped, and I don't talk about this all the time, is when you do something good, when something works, when something resonates in the marketplace, I think as brands often want to do a new thing. They want to totally reimagine. Each year, they're launching new stuff. This is not always the right tendency, because if you do something and you find that it works, add on to it. Take that, use it. And so Wrapped is a perfect example of that. In 2015, it was a brand campaign. It was called Year in Music. It was very, very simple. And then in 2016, it evolved to be just a bigger campaign around the world. There was no digital component to Wrapped. 2017, we built a microsite where you could go, you'd have to log in, and you could see your data at the end of the year. Then 2018, similar deal. Little iterative steps, little footprints. And then in 2019, something changed. We made a decision that we were going to bring Wrapped into the product, into the core product. And it exploded. And tons of our users started sharing their Wraps across the internet. So again, we're looking at our user behavior, and then we're iterating and we're learning from what they do. In 2020, very challenging year. This was a pandemic year. We had a product experience and a brand campaign that was about gratitude and resilience, because the year was so hard for everyone, and it was very, very challenging doing a global brand campaign in the year of the pandemic. And then in 2021, we built a non-user experience. And so we're always testing little additions to Wrapped and figuring out like how can we make this better for our users. And then in 2022, there was a theme. It was called Let's Play Wrapped. And so we did all these Wrapped games. In the product experience, there were quizzes. There were things that you could do to test your own knowledge of your own listing. So each year, there's a different inflection, and there's a different iteration on what this campaign looks like. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the most recent one, which is 2023, where the theme was the realest thing on the internet. And again, like this is something like if it's not broke, don't fix it, but actually do fix it. Like make it better. Make it a little better each year. You don't have to be doing new stuff constantly just for the sake of being new stuff. If you find product market fit, keep it. Iterate on it. It's a global experience. I think a lot of people don't actually understand the scale. It's across 30 plus languages. It's across 31. There's a full brand campaign across 30 markets. And to localize this type of a campaign, it's a massive team of regional teams, of global teams, and of technologists building this all together. So it's a few moments in the hands of the consumer, but it really does take a village to bring it to life. It's an ecosystem. So there's 4 parts of it. There's the listener experience. That's what you guys mostly know and experience. That's in the app. You get the experience, and we show you the data stories around your listing. But there's also a creator experience. And the creator experience is for your favorite artists to look back at their stats for the year. And a lot of people don't. When I came to Spotify, I didn't really realize what a big deal this was. But like when Dua Lipa gets her Wrapped, she can see how her fan base has grown throughout the year. She can see how the listening has changed. And this really amplifies the reach of the campaign because we are a two-sided marketplace. We serve consumers and we serve artists. And so we deliver this experience to both constituents. There's a brand campaign across 30 markets, and there's a ton of bespoke on-platform content, playlists, editorial playlists that our editors curate, and then algotorial playlists that our algorithms develop based around the theme each year. So it's a very big cross-company initiative. So be the realest thing on the internet. This was the theme for 2023. What does this mean? We were thinking a lot about AI. We were thinking a lot about deepfakes and not really knowing what's going on the internet. That's what was going on in 2023. And we wanted to explore the tension between our user data, which is real. It is real. And with everything else that you were seeing on the internet. And so we came upon this brand platform of be the realest thing on the internet. This is what it looked like. I'm going to show you guys a ton of work. So we're going to go fast. So here's the listener experience. There's always an intro. We work very cross-functionally to deliver this experience to life. There's technologists, designers, marketers, brand strategists. It's a whole compendium of people. And then we give you your top songs, and all of the copy is bespoke every year, and it relates to the theme of the year. So you can see your top songs. These are not my top songs. And then we give you your top artists, your top 5 artists. And there's a new visual identity each year that's developed for this, which is its own very, very challenging process, because developing a visual identity that will work in Thai, that will work in Arabic, that will work in French, requires a lot of testing and a lot of work, especially across devices and surfaces. So I think it's something that we often take for granted, and we shouldn't, the fact that this campaign looks new every year. 2023 had one of my favorite genre stories. Each year we do a different genre story, and we got to do a sandwich this year, and so we made a sandwich of listening, and you have different kinds of bread that you can choose from, and then we tell you sort of the percentage of your listing in your genre sandwich. So we try to find these moments of like silliness and fun that we can sort of inject into the experience. A share card. And then each year we also do bespoke data stories. And so these data stories are one and done. So like you only get it 1 year. They're very special. And so this year's very special data story was called Soundtown. And what Soundtown was we told you how you listened based on how other people were listening, where you guys live together. This was a very, very difficult data story to complete because of geopolitical reasons, because of data coverage reasons. It was one that we really, really fought for to stay in the experience, and we're happy we did. It went very, very viral in the United States. There was a whole sort of like media coverage around like where your Soundtown was. A lot of people got the same places, and so then they're sharing on their socials and they're talking about where their Soundtown is. And then our most successful card every year is the summary share card, and that's where you can see your full roundup of how you listened, minutes listened, top genre, top artist, top songs. We do these in different colors because, again, we're trying to give people the ability to customize and personalize their experiences to the extent that we're able. So you can choose which colored one you want to share based on who you are. And then I mentioned this before, but your favorite artist also gets a Wrapped. And this is really, really key to the success of the campaign because we want to bring in artists with us. And it credentializes us in the marketplace, and it also gives artists a reason at the end of the year to talk to their top fans and talk to their fans. So the artist stories are not exactly the same each year, but they're very similar. And so you can sort of see, artists get to see like, okay, here's their fastest growing country. Here's how many people, listen to XYZ songs. So we're always trying to pull new bespoke data points for artists. And it, again, the thing that I can't stress enough is that it sounds simple, but when you're delivering this experience to 600 million people and hundreds of thousands of artists, very, very complicated from a data integrity perspective, from a localization perspective. I think people are very critical often of this campaign, I think, because, and it speaks very well of us because they want us to do more and they want us to do better. And 9 times out of 10, the reason we can't do something is because of the size and the diversity of our user base. And then podcasters also get an experience very similar. So they get percentage of total streams, top music genres, they have different features that are featured. And at the end, the artists get their share cards. And this is very, very important because the artists then go and tweet out to their fans on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. They share out on Instagram, and so that brings their hundreds of millions of fans together. It brings them in on this campaign. And unsurprisingly, Taylor Swift was the top artist of 2023. And then there's a brand experience. And what I mean by that, this is the more like classic brand campaign. And so this is run across 31 markets. There is a global brand platform. It is localized across all of those markets. So here's an example of Out of Home that ran in New York City, my home. We sometimes try to do fun stuff. So Lil Yachty had big growth in that year. So we pull a data point on him, and then we made him a little yacht, and we sailed it in Atlanta, Georgia, where he's from, in a fountain. So there are conventional. I think we're very well known for telling these data stories in campaigns around the world and out of home, but we always try to sprinkle in a few little surprises that are based on the artists each year. Got a couple more examples here. Again, global reach. All the artists are usually very excited about participating in this campaign, which is another testament to its success in the fact that it has a lot of resonance across the music marketplace around the world. We have a partnership with FCB Barcelona. This is for the 2nd year, and so we bring the players in. We ask them what were their favorite songs of the year, what were their favorite tracks. So it really spans our entire business. It spans our entire network of partnerships. Pretty much everyone who's in the Spotify world starts participating in Spotify Wrapped. And that's how we want it to be. We had a Roblox world 1 year for Gen Alpha. We had an island called Spotify Island, and on our island, we launched a series of games that were wrapped, and we had the wrapped Viz ID across the experience. So again, this was an experimental thing for us. We just wanted to see what would happen. We wanted to test and learn, basically. And the thing that I really love about this program and about this initiative is that there is room to do that. There's room to do tests and to sort of, explore. And as long as we're delivering, the experience that our consumers know and love year after year, we try to find those new places to do different stuff. And Roblox is an example of that. And there's a whole experiential portion. We built this cafe in Germany, Super Späti. There were pop-ups in Rio. There were pop-ups in Jakarta, all around the world. Like this is an initiative that our global teams, everyone rallies together and tries to build special market-level executions. And so we were talking in the panel just earlier about the tension between global and local, and we feel that very, very strongly on this campaign. And so we are always ping-ponging between global, local to make sure that we are delivering an experience that makes sense for our users on the ground. There was a live show in London. Again, and this was another experiment. We didn't know how it was going to go. We might do it this year, we might not. I think we try to keep that sense of test and learn to the extent that we're able. And then Taylor Swift. I'll take a moment to talk about Taylor. She was the top global artist of the year. We do something special each year for the top global artist. Do we have are any of you guys Taylor fans? Yeah, we got a couple. So I should be scared. I shouldn't say anything. No, we have a lot of Swifties at Spotify. And so what we ended up doing for Taylor was we made this, we custom made this illustration. It's filled with Easter eggs for her fan base. And we sort of breadcrumbed them across the internet. And so all these Swifties and influencers found them and got into a frenzy and started to try and piece them together. And it was just a really wonderful artist-specific wrapped moment. And it's something that we will look to evolve and expand upon this year as well. We always want to do something very special for our top artist. And I think I've read countless TikToks, people trying to decipher this image. We made it in little puzzle pieces. They were trying to figure out what it was. And then finally, on-platform content. And this is a big one because obviously we are a music DSP. We want to bring you the content that you love. And we do a ton of bespoke content for Wrapped each year. And here's a couple of examples. So we have a flagship playlist. It's called Your Top Songs. Many of you guys have probably browsed this playlist before. It is a compendium of your top songs. Actually, when you go through the core Wrapped experience, you can there's a user pathway where you can actually add this to your Spotify. So that's how users mostly find it in the core Wrapped experience. We have playlists that are very, very bespoke. So 1 year we did one called On Repeat. They have different themes, so we wanted to serve you tracks that you listen to over and over and over again each year. 1 year we did one called Missed Hits. That was about the songs that we thought that you should like that you missed. And then we had podcasts. And then finally last year, actually 2023, was a big year for us in terms of Wrapped on-platform content, because we had introduced a number of new features, one of which was called AI DJ. And so we actually had AI DJ I don't think, not yet available in the Georgia market, but what it is it's a algorithmically generated AI that is kind of like a radio voice. And it will give you recommendations, it will talk to you. It's kind of like the voice in the background. It's very much modeled after listening to the radio in your car. And so we had bespoke content for AI DJ. We had the ability to purchase merch for your favorite artists at the end of the year. We had concert recommendations. And then my absolute favorite, I should have brought an image for you guys of this, but like my absolute favorite thing is that we got 40,000 video liners from artists saying like, hey, I'm BTS, thank you so much for being my top fan. And we were able to serve them to our users in the data stories and also in the core interface. And so you could go through, a lot of people don't know this, but like these are always kind of buried in the app. A lot of you can go through and you can find videos of your favorite artists, like giving you a special message if you're a top fan. And that's something we're very, very interested in exploring in the future. So, Wrapped, huge. It's like taken up so much of my life, but not all of it. So we thought to ourselves, what if we took the spirit of Wrapped and breadcrumbed it throughout the year? Wrapped is a very successful campaign, and there's good and bad, but I think we wanted to do more experimentation. We wanted to do more test and learn. We wanted to really understand what was resonating with certain cohorts of users. Wrapped is unique because it's for everyone. But what happens when we look at a few people or a different fandom? And so we created a whole new work stream. And this work stream is loosely called marketing experiences. What it is Wrapped-like experiences that we started delivering to our users. Here's an example of a couple of them I'll talk through. For example, Playlist in a Bottle was an experience that we brought right before New Year's. And what it was we wanted you to answer a couple of questions that were like predictions throughout the year. So like, who's going to be your crush? And like, are you going to get straight A's in school? All sorts of questions. And the answer would be a song. So you pick a song to answer that question, and then we would take it away from you. It was a playlist in a bottle. So we take it away from you and give it back to you a year later. And so this was very, very fun, and you could choose like a different capsule, and you would basically like make this playlist, and we would serve it to you in a year. So it's a time capsule playlist. So that's just one example. Get Ready with Music up here. This was just built around a very simple idea. What if you could build a playlist based on your outfit? And so this was all about like you would take a picture of your outfit, and then we had an algorithm that we had custom developed, and that it would give you a playlist based on your outfit. And so all of these have had varying degrees of virality and success. But we've learned something from each of them based on how users behave. And so the way that we think about these are in buckets of three. So the first are artist franchises. So this is called My Top 5. And so this was born around the insight of like, we know that there is a ton of conversation off of Spotify, off platform. We know that. And so we wanted to bring some of that conversation on platform. And what that meant was we built these experiences called My Top 5. We've done them for a fleet of artists, including BTS, Rosalia, Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift. And it's an experience that basically lets you rank your top song or album. And when you choose that, you can then share it on social, and then your friend can see it and say, that's totally wrong. Like, I'm going to do it. And then we start all of this conversation online based on your favorite, based on the artist in question. And then we also have these experiences that are focused around global reach. So these are experiences that are meant to be bigger. I just told you a little bit about Playlist in a Bottle because it's one of my personal favorites. Song Sidekick is another one. Very simple idea, very simple insight. What if we asked you a question and the answer was a song? And so this one was hugely successful with kids. They loved it. And so you would say, like, am I going to grow up and be a superhero? And then you would get an answer that would be a song. And then we also do a couple that are focused around genre. I'll move over here. We've done two. One is around K-pop, and one is around reggaeton. And reggaeton ran in LATAM market, K-pop ran in mostly APAC, but also some mature markets. We were talking earlier in the panel about local insights. These were ones that had to be super, super local in how they were executed because it wouldn't have worked with the fandoms. I don't know if we have any K-pop fans in the house. Doesn't seem like it. But K-pop fans are very, very particular about what they love. And they have a whole secret language for how they talk about K-pop. And so in order for us to build an experience about K-pop, we had to actually do a lot of research about that fandom, talk to a ton of fans, and make sure that the visual identity was right for where the culture was in the moment in Asia. And so each of these highly different experiences, we view them very much as experiments. We learn so much about how our users engage with these. But above all else, like, they should be fun, and we try to make them fun. Like, that's point blank one of the biggest metrics. So you can see a couple more. This is my top 5. So you've got BTS, Taylor, Kendrick, and then people just talking about them on social constantly. And it's very fun for us because we're always listening. We're always trying to understand how people are reacting to our experiences, and we really do listen. And then there are full brand campaigns that are run around each of these experiences. So we've got The Weeknd, Rosalia, Kendrick, Taylor, BTS. And then each one has been a little bit different, and the artists have engaged in different ways with each one. Just more social. And I think if my thesis statement for these, outside of make them fun, it's this. It's that users don't think about marketing and product separately, and you should not either. And what I mean by that is that users just see the thing. They see Spotify, and they judge it based on the experience that they have. And they don't know about the internal teams, and they don't know about internal politics, and they don't care about that stuff. And so staying ruthlessly user-centric is always going to be the guiding path for all of the marketing that you guys are doing, that I'm doing. It's so, so important. And all of these experiences are a testament to that. We are a very unique team. We sort of sit in the middle of product and marketing, and we are successful because we get everyone to collaborate together. And the way that we do that is by having an idea and that everyone buys into and that they believe is going to work. And it's not, one team, one other team, everyone off doing separate things. You have to sell in the idea and then bring everyone along. So I think that's all I got for you guys. I will take Q&A. Thanks. Madloba. No questions? I'm sure there are questions.
Thank you, Louisa. So feel free to ask questions if you have any. Oh, God. Just raise your hand.
Oh, awesome.
Oscar. And the Oscar goes to...
Yeah, so I'm actually maybe the only Swedish person here. But do you have any competitors, like any real competitors in Spotify?
Yes.
Which ones?
We have many competitors. It very much depends by the market. In the US, it is Apple Music, it is YouTube, it is Pandora, SiriusXM. In Europe, it tends to be more Apple, YouTube. In Asia, there are different competitors. India, we are not in China, but India, they have a bunch of local competitors. In France, there's a company called Deezer that is our competitor. And then, of course, a lot of music discovery happens on TikTok. So it's a more complex ecosystem than it might seem. So by no means do I think we have no competitors. We have many competitors.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, my question is like this. When deal comes to the art, and Spotify, for example, supports the art of music, artists are always concerned about their, let's say, signature. So they always want their artwork to be protected quite well. What are some of your products? How are you protecting the arts created on the Spotify?
How are we protecting the art?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this is a big point of contention and discussion in the marketplace at large, and I will be the first to say that there is no right answer, but I do think that Spotify, in terms of what it's delivering to artists, is leagues ahead of competitors in terms of the tech stack. One of the biggest challenges that artists face in the marketplace right now is actually payment remediation, and that's something that we are leading on. I think also our payment model is widely misinterpreted in the ecosystem, and so we do pay a significant amount of money to artists, and we've gotten a lot of conversation in the press about raising prices, and part of that is because we need to achieve profitability, and much of that comes from our business model, which at its core has been about giving money back to artists. Thank you, guys.